Welcome to Freedom Cast, where your hosts, Jordan and Miranda, show you how to get just a little bit more out of life. Are you ready to leave normal behind?
Hello, Freedom Casters. Today we have a fun little podcast for you because we are going to be talking about something near and dear to our hearts.
Very, very near and dear.
Is Marvel movies.
Yep.
We love Marvel. Not a big DC comic fans. How do you say that? DC Comics?
DC Comics, you got it right.
DC Comics fans.
I guess. DC Comics fans? See, we don't even know because we don't like it. So
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's easier to say I'm a Marvel fan.
Yep.
We are Marvel people.
Yes, very much so.
We wanted to dedicate a podcast to Marvel since we've already dedicated a podcast to The Office, and we thoroughly enjoyed that one. So we decided we're going to do another random one. We're going to talk about Marvel.
I think the Office episode was one of my favorites.
It was a fun one.
Because it's so good to talk about serious, important stuff, even though we're goofy at the same time. But talking about Marvel movies and stuff, that's super fun. And we love them. And we know there's a lot of people out there that love them too. So we're just going to be talking about some of our favorites, some of our favorite moments from the films. I'm sure you will enjoy this one. So sit back and just enjoy listening to us talk about Marvel. Because who wouldn't want to listen to a podcast where people are just talking about Marvel movies? Because I know I would.
Yeah, it's awesome. Because Marvel has done something that you can't even compare it to any other movie franchise.
You can't. There's no comparison.
It was so well planned out from the beginning, and it's so many movies. How many movies is it?
It's 18 now. Black Panther made 18.
18 movies. I mean, Lord of the Rings, which is, and I think it will always be my absolute favorite epic ever. I just can't beat Lord of the Rings in my book. But Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter. I mean, they all add up to about half the movies.
Yeah.
As Marvel has.
Yeah.
And Marvel has incorporated different superheroes making cameos in other movies and introducing new characters that get their own movie. And it's so cool how they have made this whole world, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU.
Nice. Very nice, Miranda.
I know.
You are as much or more of a geek than I am.
Yeah.
Or nerd. We'll stick with nerd.
I also know for all Marvel movies, you need to wait till the very end because they always have a little extra scene.
At least one.
At least one. Now I feel like they have two all the time.
Yeah, one of the movies had 4, I think, which was just getting a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, they have one for the people that are like, yeah, you gotta stay. But then they have the one at the very, very end for like the truly dedicated fans.
Yep.
Because after the first one, a lot of people leave, but then you know you're a true Marvel fan if you wait until the whole thing is done, every credit.
Yep. The coolest thing about this series in general, and just the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, is the fact that they, especially in a society where we are very much immediate gratification, they've gone with the delayed gratification of starting with Iron Man in 2008, and just now in 2018, in 3 months, just about 3 months, just less than 3 months now, actually, on May 4th, Infinity War will be releasing, and that's Avengers Infinity War. This is a movie that has been just about 10 years in the making. This is the culmination of this Phase 3, the overarching story of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is leading to this. And that's where, I talk to people, they're like, oh, yeah, what's Infinity War about? And I'm like, it's Infinity War. How do you not know what that's about? But it's been so cool because they just have been leading up to this one movie. And it's going to be 2 movies, but basically leading up to this 2-movie series for the past 10 years. They've been slowly building the characters, introducing new ones. I think it was either the first or second Avengers where we got that cutscene with Thanos at the end, who's going to be the really bad evil villain. And then it was Guardians of the Galaxy. He showed up again and was just wasn't in the movie very much, but he was like the supreme overlord, even way above the baddest guy in the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was Ronan. But Thanos was just out in space, just like doing his own thing, like bossing people around, and it's just been cool.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, I'm a super nerd with this stuff. I could talk about this stuff all day. I love it.
Yeah,
We're going to try to make it interesting for you guys.
I was like, oh yeah, that's when Infinity Wars comes out. And they were like, what's Infinity Wars? And I was like, because we talk about it a lot. You're so pumped about it. I was like, what's Infinity Wars? Like, are you crazy? You live under a rock?
Yeah, I've been obsessed with this movie for years because it's been so long in coming. They've built this universe. They've built these characters. And now they're having the mad Titan Thanos come down to Earth and try to get back his Infinity Stones that they've been sprinkling throughout the movies. It's just such a cool thing because we don't do that, really. I don't think this is nothing that's ever been done before, to sprinkle this kind of stuff throughout, movies.
It's so well planned out and thought out from before how they were going to make everything work and tie everything together. And obviously there are some plot holes, some confusion with
timeline and things.
The Hulk especially is, I think, a weird one.
The Hulk is an interesting one because that one, the Incredible Hulk, that was starred Edward Norton.
Wasn't that technically the official first one? You said Iron Man, but isn't that the first
one? I think that may have happened briefly after. I'm not sure of exactly the dates. Okay. I think it may have been just barely afterward. But that was still at the time when they were new. They weren't sure if, I think at some point Marvel had actually gone bankrupt. I think that was even before.
Oh, really?
Before Iron Man, but Iron Man kind of like revolutionized the whole thing. Iron Man is really where they say it started, and I believe it was the first one date-wise.
Started, yeah.
But yeah, as far as getting into the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Incredible Hulk just barely got in.
Yeah. But like I said, there are some iffy things that are like, that's a little confusing, that actor changed or whatever. But
for the most part, it's been very consistent.
Yeah, when you're thinking about 18 movies, you're thinking about trillions of dollars, you're thinking about just the amount of actors and the amount of people involved in this. It's just a huge project.
Yeah.
And that they can keep it seamed up at all is amazing.
It is incredible that they've been able to do what they've done.
It's so cool.
And they've gotten some of the highest scores. And I referenced Rotten Tomatoes with a grain of salt. I think they're not always, the critics don't always make the most sense as far as giving movies what they give. Just for example, me and Miranda loved Greatest Showman. Everyone I talked to loved Greatest Showman. I think the critics gave it something like a 50-something %.
Which is crazy. Oh, it was such a good movie.
It's such a good movie. The critics don't know what they're doing. I mean, they gave, not to get back to Star Wars, but they gave Star Wars a super high score while...
It always comes back to The Last Jedi.
While people that came in and reviewed it gave it a really low score. But all that to say, the cool thing with Marvel movies is the difference between critic scores and audience scores have been pretty close. For the most part, the movies have been very, very highly rated by both critics and fans. And that's just been a really cool testament to how good these movies are.
You know what else I love about Marvel movies?
What?
I love that Stan Lee has a cameo in every one. So awesome.
I love that they do that.
Yeah, it's just, there's something about, it's creating that brand and that, having that thing you expect each time, but also having just all the surprises too, how they tie everything together. And it's just, they've done a really good job of making it just this huge franchise. And, it's just crazy to think, later on it's like, okay, we're gonna do a Marvel marathon. Okay, this is gonna take a month.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
It's awesome.
All right, Miranda, I'm going to jump into it and ask you a question here. Out of all 18 of the movies, now you can include Black Panther in this, even though it just came out. Which one is your favorite? Now, before you answer, remember, you got to think about their Civil War. That was a great movie. Mm-hmm. You got to think about the fact that you love Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. I know Iron Man's maybe not your favorite, but you got to remember Thor Ragnarok too. All these things. So
it's always so hard.
Think about it. But you can have your opinion, and I very much support your opinion. And there's really no wrong answer. The only wrong answer might be The Incredible Hulk, because that movie was just not up to the same level. And the fact that Edward Norton, while he's a great actor, Mark Ruffalo is The Incredible Hulk. You just can't. They picked the perfect actor to play him in the MCU.
Ah, he's so good. Okay, well,
Dun dun dun. We'll give a Michael drum roll.
it's a very hard choice because we just saw Black Panther about a week ago, and it was so good. I loved it.
It was really good.
It was right up my alley. The costume design was incredible. It was just bright and beautiful, the whole movie. They had really cool fight scenes. They had a bunch of really strong female characters. The music was just heart-pounding and really, like, it was just perfect how they tied in the technology of Wakanda with the traditional, historic
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. And they just did such a good job tying it all together. And I really want to say Black Panther right now, but that it is biased because I just saw it.
It is hard.
But then when we saw Thor Ragnarok, I was like, oh, I love this one. This one's like one of my new favorites too. And that one was just so... Thor Ragnarok was so funny. And I love Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo, like you said. It's just, he is the Hulk. And
Jeff Goldblum was in that. You probably don't even know who that is, but he's really good.
I get all those actors confused.
Master, not game.
Yeah, he was really good.
Whatever they called him that.
Yeah, but just their camaraderie and the humor, just having those two together they just clicked and it was awesome and it was just magic on the screen.
Tessa Thompson was good too as Valkyrie.
Oh, she was awesome.
And me and Miranda actually saw that one in 3D IMAX too.
Yeah.
We were like, we're going to splurge. We heard this movie was really good in 3D IMAX. We're both we just kind of questioned.
3D stuff, we're a little,
we're like,
we're skeptics.
I don't know. And the movie started out like in the previews, I was like, oh man, like I already feel like my eyes are messed up. But oh my goodness, the beginning of that movie was awesome in 3D. I actually went and saw that movie again in 2D. Didn't even compare to how much more amazing the 3D IMAX was.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was definitely worth the experience to do it that way. But then nothing really beats Avengers for me, the original Avengers, because that was the first one that tied everything together, kind of. And
yes.
It was like, oh, this is like a ragtag team of superheroes and all of these individual superheroes that you've seen in their own movies, that you've seen their backstory and seen them progress. Now they're all together and just seeing them interact. I find personalities just fascinating in general, but having all those different personalities on screen and how they play to their strengths. Captain America is, saying, you go here, and Hawkeye's up there giving like a bird's eye view of everything, and Hulk is just smashing.
Hulk smash.
It was so cool to see all that tie together and see all those superheroes just kind of work together, and
they're so good together too, because you can see that. I mean, these are like high name actors that they have coming in. And you can tell that they have some off-screen chemistry as well, because during the movie they just fit so well together. They have this banter, and you just kind of feel like, I feel like some of that is real.
They have some Bruce banter.
That was good. But it's just good. It's good. You can tell that they're having that. Even behind the scenes too. You're sure that they're having that kind of banter, and it just comes out well.
Yeah. But then also Guardians of the Galaxy. Hysterical. Chris Pratt is another one that I just love. And I remember watching the preview for that and thinking that looks so dumb. I was like, what's Marvel doing? What is
Guardians?
That? Yeah, I remember.
I agree with you.
I remember seeing the preview. To do that well.
Everyone was kind of thinking like, this isn't going to be.
But it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? They did it again.
Yep. So out of Black Panther's your favorite. We'll say that because it's new. You just watched it.
Yes.
And it was really good. It had all those good things. So,
but that's
Black
like
Panther
my top.
Aside,
that's my top 5. I would say would be Black Panther.
Well, what's the very next one?
Avengers. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor Ragnarok. I don't know what my 5th is. I love Iron Man too, and I feel like his movies are better. I'm a Captain America fan at heart, but I feel like the Iron Man movies, the first Captain America movie wasn't that great. Civil War was really good, but
Isn't that you start to think of the ones and you're like, oh man, like these are my top 5, but you realize you pick a top 5.
You just scrolled down the list, and then Spider-Man popped up, and it's like, oh, that one was so good too.
You're leaving ones out. You're leaving Spider-Man out. You're leaving, the first and second Thors out. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say right now. I'm gonna say, like you said, Black Panther is my favorite right now because, I mean, we just saw it, and we'll see if time will tell if it remains my favorite. But at this moment in time, I'm gonna say Black Panther.
Okay.
So, for you, Jordan, what is your all-time favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? Go.
It is very difficult, and I go back and forth because I'm looking at my list of an article I wrote on Medium, and I'm going to even change that. I think I have to say Doctor Strange.
Ooh.
It's so hard to say that, though, because if you say that, like, once again, you're leaving all these other fantastic and wonderful movies out of it. And I think I'm biased for this because Benedict Cumberbatch is awesome.
And you've been watching Sherlock. Or is that someone different?
No, and I'm thinking about exactly. Yeah. That's probably why I'm moving.
You have a man crush right now. That's why you're saying Doctor Strange.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I do.
Man crush alert.
Benedict Cumberbatch is right now. He's my favorite actor.
Is it Botch or Batch?
Probably Batch.
I feel like you always say Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
You're really botching that one up. I am on it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I am botching that for Dr. Doctor Strange.
Dr. Batch.
No, let me talk about why I love Doctor Strange so much. Miranda isn't a huge fan of this one. It's probably one of her lower rated ones. I think you kind of either really love Doctor Strange or you're kind of about it. It's still good. You still enjoy it.
Yeah, the movie though definitely wasn't. I think I like Doctor Strange as a superhero and as a character, but something about the movie
I gotcha.
I wasn't digging.
See, I loved it just because it was cool that they went into the mystical, and I like the mystical arts and stuff, and I think it was really neat that they built up enough of a franchise where that they could do that. They could jump out into the mystical, and the audience was going to stick with you with the movie to the end. And and they had the time thing in the movie, and I'm a sucker for any kind of time travel. I mean, Back to the Future was probably one of the best series ever. I love that series. You're looking at me like it wasn't.
Best series ever. That's a big statement.
Not the best series, but it's a classic. It deserves some recognition.
It definitely deserves recognition.
That's all I'm saying.
I never grew up on Back to the Future. I saw it for the first time with you, but we watched all 3 of them at a Back to the Future special at a movie theater.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Was it like the 10th anniversary?
Yeah, I think it was definitely more than 10.
20?
Probably
30?
25,
How
30,
old are these movies?
Yeah, but I think you probably fell asleep. But regardless, I enjoy anything time related. Whenever time's thrown in, I'm like, oh, I get super geeked out about that. So I loved how he got the Eye of Agamotto and was doing all that stuff with the time Infinity Stone.
The funny part is when we saw this in theaters.
Oh yeah, this is hilarious.
Jordan went to the bathroom. He had to pee like halfway through. He left right when he found was it called Eye of Agamotto?
Or the Amulet of Agamotto, or I might be saying it wrong.
When he found the Infinity Stone, Jordan was in the bathroom. So he comes back and he's whispering in my ear like, how is he changing time? Like, what? I don't understand.
I asked her when I came back, I said, Miranda, did I miss anything? And she was like, oh, no, you didn't miss anything. I missed the most important part in the movie.
Yeah, it was so funny.
She didn't tell me.
And he's like, oh, that's an Infinity Stone. Why didn't you tell me?
Why did you tell me that? He got something. And you're like, oh, I didn't know it was important. Like, okay.
I was just, I don't know. I wasn't focused because it wasn't my favorite, so.
Yeah, Doctor Strange, definitely it's very close. It's very close, but I love the movie, and maybe it's because I'm a little biased toward the character as well. I really love Doctor Strange. I'm real close as Iron Man. Mm-hmm. Robert Downey Jr. is just the heart of the whole series.
The bread and butter.
He was the motivating factor, I think, behind, or the driving force behind getting all these movies out there. So the series wouldn't be there without him. Iron Man, the original movie, was just awesome. It was so good. And of course, you have to remember all these other ones. I like Guardians of the Galaxy way more than I ever thought I would. And it is,
Yeah.
me and Miranda actually watched it. Well, we always watch the movies again. I remember watching it in the theater at our retirement community. And it was really cool because there was a theater there. We could just pop in a Blu-ray and watch a movie. But yeah, watching Guardians of the Galaxy again, I was like, we were both like, man, we love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is one of our favorite movies. So Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely up there. Thor Ragnarok was so good because it was funny. I liked the original Thor and then Thor 2 as well. Captain America, the Winter Soldier was super good. That was actually much better than the first Captain America. But then Tony Stark was in Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was good. So it is very hard to pick one. I don't rank Ant-Man as low as a lot of people do. I think a lot of people struggled with that one for whatever reason. I know my brother wasn't his favorite. Some of my other friends said Ant-Man wasn't their huge favorite. I don't think, Miranda?
No.
Ant-Man didn't do it for you. And
No.
again, I think I get biased toward the actor too.
You do, because
'Cause
that's another man crush.
I love Paul Rudd. He's so good, and he played the movie so good. He was a funny guy that just like fit that role so well. And I think because he played it so well, I loved the movie just because of the actor. I think I am definitely biased toward the plot in a movie and toward like the actors that are in there. That's where I kind of lend more of my.
Second question. What
ahead.
is your least favorite Marvel movie? Other than The Incredible Hulk, because I don't think we should count that one.
No, I don't. I mean, that one's kind of obvious. I honestly, a lot of people say Thor: The Dark World.
That one just wasn't memorable.
Yeah, but I liked it again because they had dark elves in there. It was kind of weird. Like, why are there dark elves in a Marvel movie? But they're just so willing to do like anything. They're so willing to explore these worlds and do different things.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool.
I know my answer to this, so I'm just going to go ahead before you even ask me, is Deadpool.
Deadpool's not in the MCU.
He's not?
No, but you can answer that. Deadpool is in X-Men. Miranda's giving me this face like I should have known that.
Ugh.
Embarrassing.
I thought,
Wah, 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 wah.
oh, my life is over. No, I thought
You were
he
so
was...
excited to say that, and I was like, no.
Now, see, I was like, I know my least favorite. I got it. I was really excited. But you did tell me that. I didn't know that. But didn't they buy the rights to X-Men now?
Well, yeah, they
Couldn't
bought
Deadpool
Fox, or that's happening,
potentially-
so they could potentially get in there.
See, I'm
yeah.
just really ahead of times. I'm saying Deadpool, like,
He's in there.
when now that he's, he can technically be grouped in there. He's my least favorite.
Yeah, but anyway, if I had to answer that for my least favorite one besides the Hulk, it's probably Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I actually think I like Thor: The Dark World better than that one.
Yeah.
I think me and Miranda watched it again.
We liked it better the second
We liked
time.
it better the second time. I think we were just expecting a lot more from it. We weren't expecting it to be we were expecting it to be similar, but they tried to make all the same jokes, and they really forced a lot of the stuff that happened in that. And it didn't really advance the storyline at all towards Thanos, which is what I was hoping for. So I
think
gave it
that was your biggest disappointment. You wanted a Thanos. You wanted that plot to move forward, and you thought you were going to see a push towards the Infinity Wars, but there wasn't.
Yeah, there wasn't anything really at all besides character building for the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is fine, but they said it. I think I was expecting that in my mind because Guardians of the Galaxy, the original one, introduced the Power Stone, and there was the first time Thanos was really on the screen for any length of time. So it was like, if any movie was going to build more towards Infinity War, it would really have been Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't at all. And I was like, oh, man. So I was definitely disappointed for that. And I think knowing that it wasn't going to, obviously, because I had already seen it, watching it again was like, okay, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's a very enjoyable movie, but it was at a time where it really could have done well to set up, the rest of the series.
Yeah.
So that's probably my least favorite.
And I will say my one qualm with Marvel is that they have taken forever to have a female-led movie. And I know you say it's Captain Marvel,
Yes.
and it's being filmed now, or
Yeah. It might have been already filmed. I don't know. It's releasing, I think, next year. No,
think-
not next year. The year It's releasing in 2019.
Yeah, I feel like they really missed a really good opportunity there because you saw how awesome Wonder Woman did. And I think it's awesome that she was, it was a female-led action hero movie. And I loved that. But it was a DC movie. We didn't even really like it because I feel like it just because it was DC.
Well, we didn't really. I mean, we gave it the chance to watch it. We weren't expecting much, and we got nothing in return. And there's very few people I've talked to that don't like that movie. A lot of people like it. Me and Miranda both were on the same page. It just wasn't that good. I don't think. But that's just our opinion. We didn't enjoy it. I would never watch the movie again. I'd have no reason to.
Yeah, but I
am biased. So.
I really wish Marvel would have jumped on that train. Like, duh, it's 2018, like, that's definitely gonna sell. Like, what idiots are telling these movie producers, like, like, a female-led action hero movie will never work? Like,
I feel
that's crazy.
There may have been people saying that, but at the same time, a lot of these characters are men, and, like, in the comics, like, they're going off of, like, the comics.
It's all Stan Lee's fault.
They're going off these characters. It's all whose fault? Oh, Stan Lee. Yeah, it's all his fault.
Come on, Stan Lee. Get on the
I don't think there's
train.
any reason, like, I think people want to, like, force diversity into certain things like this, and I don't think there's any reason to force it. But I don't think there's anything wrong if it's a female-led, if it makes sense, like, for the world. I think it is. I think you're totally right, Miranda, but it's also funny when people are like, oh, man, this series, like, doesn't have a movie that has a strong female-led. Like, well, that's was up to the people that made the movies. Like, it doesn't have to.
Yeah, but I think it's easier, as, like, a male, like, you don't notice the absence of it because all you see is, like, constantly, like,
That's true.
Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, like, they're all just, like, big,
and
burly
green.
men. Yeah. But when you, like, are a female, seeing Wonder Woman was inspiring because that made you feel like that could be, you can aspire to that, kind of.
You think that's why people liked that movie so much, and they forgave its, like, gaping plot holes and its just terrible characters?
It was...
I mean, Chris Pine is awesome, but she didn't even care that he died.
Oh, yeah, that was sad.
It was so, like...
It's like, come on, girl!
Oh, it was so poorly done. But yeah, anyway, like, do you think that's the reason why people liked it so much? And I'm not saying that I like to be like, well, it was a woman-led and a woman-directed movie, but I think there is part of, like, there's some people that, like, will want to like a movie just based on those reasons, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be, it should be whether the movie was good or not.
Yeah, but I think
it was... Is that a thing? Should I be saying that? Maybe I should be saying that.
No, that was... It was just... Really, it was cool to see that scene when they were on the island still, and they're all on horses battling, just, like, these strong, fierce women, and it is inspiring, and I think it's just, like I said, I think when you are male and, there's so many movies with male-led...
Yeah. I just don't think about that because I'm already represented. Yeah, and even, like I said, watching Black Panther, I was like, that was really cool. Just, the African-American cast. And just, like, having something different was so cool. And the strong female leads as well. Yeah. I was actually thinking that was really cool how they did it. That was another, just, what do they call it? Feather in the cap for Black Panther. And that, like, very, it was an African-American led cast, but the female roles were very strong. And they didn't even so much, they focused on, T'Challa, of course. That's Black Panther, T'Challa. And, and he's a guy, obviously. But, like, they focused on him, but there was also, like, very, a lot of focus on the side cast as well. I think more so in this one than other Marvel movies. Yeah, the warriors that he had, where there's a female group of warriors, and his mother was the strong character, and his little sister, who, if you watch the movie, you'll just love her. She's so good. Yeah, she was our favorite. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite Marvel characters. I think now, 'cause she was awesome. Yeah, because she was involved in the tech, but she was also hardcore, and she was still a lovable female, and just that you can be all encompassing and be all those things at the same time was just really cool. Yep.
to see. But yeah. What was I saying? I don't even know where I started with that. But yeah, I'm excited to see how Marvel does with Captain Marvel.
I think Captain Marvel's going to be awesome. And this thing, like, I have no problem with, like, female-led movies. I think that it's just hard when you think about it because, and it's the same, like, people would say, if people didn't like Black Panther, they would say, well, you're not comfortable with that, with, like, an all African or African-American cast. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that. It's great that they're doing that, but it is frustrating when people, like, when you're talking to people, and especially, we talked about another podcast episode about having conversations on Facebook. People just want to blast you and say you're racist, or if you don't like Wonder Woman, then you're not okay with, like, a female-led movie. It's like, no, I didn't like it and I didn't think it was good. Like, it has nothing to do with that. I think it is kind of crazy when I just don't like it when people assume that that's why, and it's not why. Like, I very much I'm fine with, females in roles. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't care. Like, Black Panther, didn't really have any white people except Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen? Yeah. And he was awesome.
Martin Short, you mean?
Yeah, it's definitely not Martin Short. It's Martin Sheen. But, like, it didn't have to have, like, it's fine that it was, like, a diverse cast, or that it was, like, an all African American cast. That's fine. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. But just because someone didn't enjoy Black Panther doesn't mean they are against that sort of thing. I just think that's crazy when people go to that. And there's certainly people out there that probably, that's the reason. But for the most part, it's not. People may have just not liked the movie, and that's fine, because it should be more about the movie than it's about the cast and the type of cast. But as you have to talk about that stuff because it's in culture, and we have to discuss those things. In my mind, I'm like, okay, why can't it just be more about, like, the movie and whether it was good or not?
Yeah. I personally enjoy seeing different groups and people represented. I think that's really neat to see. And just the cultural stuff too, like I said, the costume design. I mean, you could tell they did their homework. And,
they killed it with the music and the costumes. And I think the music in this one it was different than most Marvel movies, but it was good.
It was really good. Yeah. Definitely go see Black Panther if you got the chance.
Yeah, if you haven't seen any of these other Marvel movies, just go ahead and pick them up. It's definitely worth it. I mean,
it's an investment. If you decide you want to see all of them, it definitely is a time investment. For sure.
Yep.
18 movies is a lot of movies.
Yep.
And they're only, we're only adding on to it. So.
Yeah, but Infinity War is out on May 4th. So May the 4th be with you. Go see an Infinity War Marvel movie. We can talk about that for a second. I think that's funny because both Disney, because Disney has Star Wars now. Why not release...
Disney owns everything.
Why not release Han Solo on May the 4th be with you? Star Wars Day. May the 4th is Star Wars Day. Why not release Han Solo that day and release Infinity War a different day? But they're releasing Han Solo like a couple weeks after that.
I was going to say, when are they releasing?
A couple weeks after May 4th. I'm not exactly sure when.
Yeah.
I find that like, it's funny. It's questionable. Like, why did you do that? It's such a small, it doesn't really matter at all. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, May the 4th is a big day.
It's Star Wars Day.
Yeah, and for that to land on like a movie release day too, like the chances of that, I feel like they would utilize that for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's weird.
Why not?
That they're going Infinity Wars.
Unless they have no faith in Han Solo, which I've heard. So that could be part of it.
The preview for the Han Solo movie did not inspire.
Yep.
It
didn't look anywhere near as epic as Rogue One. It just didn't look like it had the same caliber.
Yeah, it didn't seem like
I loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was great.
Yeah. We're brushing way too close to the Star Wars conversation here.
Rogue One was awesome.
We're going to start talking about Last Jedi again.
There's been 9 Star Wars movies now, right? Yes. And I've liked 8 of them.
Those are good odds.
Great numbers. I've liked 8 out of 9, so we're good.
Yeah. Some only like 3 out of 9. So
Yes, there are some people. Yep, that's true. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode about Marvel. Hopefully you made it all the way to the end. Hopefully you were interested in this. If you love Marvel, I'm sure you were listening to this and just being like, yeah, I like that. Or just like, hey, no, why didn't you talk, why wasn't the first Thor like your favorite movie? And that's fine. If you have any thoughts on that, definitely comment. If you're listening on my site, you can just comment right on my site. Or you can find us on Facebook and comment on our page as well. Just let us know what you think. Those are just our favorites. There's nothing, set in stone for that. But yeah, we just love talking about Marvel and just geeking out about it. And we are getting so excited for Infinity War on May 4th to come out.
we are very excited. We'll definitely do a podcast about it.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
All right, guys, thank you again so much for listening, and we hope you stay frosty and watch some Marvel movies.